always, we're to serve the Lord with gladness, right? They often miss out on that part. Lord, you see all the work I'm doing. They're not doing anything. Get them. Lord, get them. Show them. Lord, I know you're happy with me and all the work that I'm doing for you. And God says, boy, I really just want your love. I want your devotion. I want you to do the first works. Return unto your first love. You see, when you're filled with a love for Jesus, boy, these works, you can't, it won't be contained. It's like when Jesus healed certain people, he says, tell no man. The two blind men that came, when he healed them, he says, tell no man. And it says, and they immediately went out and began to speak it everywhere. Well, they were disobedient. They didn't listen to what Jesus said. But you know what? I don't think Jesus was that mad at them. Because they just had to tell somebody. They just had to tell somebody. The times when God had done some miraculous things in my life, I had to tell somebody. I just couldn't keep it in. If I would have kept it in, I would have exploded. Right? And so you got to tell somebody. And what are you going to tell them? And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Guess what my king did for me? That's what we need. People filled with the Spirit of God. With joy on their lips. Not, hey, you want to know Jesus? I got the joy down in my heart. Can't you tell it by the smile on my face? No thanks. I got enough problems. The agnostic said to the Christian one time, I would consider Christianity more if you were comfortable with it. He said, you're like a man with a headache. You don't want to cut your head off, but boy, you sure are uncomfortable with it. And we say, well, yeah, but at least I'm going to heaven one day. What kind of witness does that speak? You got to have joy. I had joy last night. Just praying. We began to pray, and some of the brothers praying just filled me with joy. They were so excited. I love you, sisters. But I tell you, when we get the brothers together praying, it's something else. That's what we need. If we can get our men and get their acts straight, think about how these families would be healed. Because if we're going to have, think about it all starts with the man in the home. If the man's not right, the home's not going to be right. Home's not going to be right, you're not going to have good communities, neighborhoods, cities, states, countries, and the world. It's time for the men to stand forth. Stand up for their wives, their children, their little ones. The brethren dwelling together in unity. That's powerful. Lifting up, Paul says, in 1 Timothy chapter 2, he says, I exhort therefore first of all prayers, supplications, intercessions, giving thanks to be made for all men, and so on. And then he says, and I pray that men would, therefore that men would pray always, lifting up holy hands. Think about that first.
Without wrath and doubting.
Right. Lifting up holy hands. First, what's that symbolic of? Surrender to you, Jesus. I surrender. We come out of the womb, we're doing this. Right? Little babies. I saw one come out of the womb. Saw two. They come out like this. They're fighting. We've done this before. God, why? But then we come to Jesus. We say, Lord, I surrender all. Lifting up holy hands. Something about lifting up your hands, it speaks of your heart. You might say, well, that's not for me. That's for some people. It's not for me. Some people play the tambourine. I don't. Some people clap. I don't. It's my choice. I think lifting your hands is very scriptural. Amen? I remember when I first got saved, I couldn't lift my hands. I could not do it. I went into my room and I could not do it. I had 22 years, 21 years of me I did it my way. And I remember the day that I lifted my hands. Boy, something broke in my heart. And I was not the same after that. So lifting up holy hands without wrath. Us men laying down wrath. The wrath of man does not work the righteousness of God. Without wrath and without doubting. Men, we need to be not faithless, but believing. When Thomas came to Jesus, remember he wasn't there the first time. When he came and Jesus showed up, he says, Thomas, touch. Here's your proof, Thomas. He says, be not faithless, but believing. Jesus said, these signs shall follow them that believe. You know, there's many oppositions to our faith. And I wrote down a few things. One of them, when we say or think contrary to the Word of God and His plain promises. And you know what I noticed? And I mean, how do I say this? Simply put, is that many times we are the ones that hinder ourselves. What we say and what we think. You know, because what happens is we have a situation where maybe we prayed, we're believing God for, and then it doesn't work out. So what we begin to do is we begin to build up reasons why. Right? Why this didn't happen. And then after a while, that's just part of our thinking. Our thinking is, well, I know that God, and just choose whatever His promise is. I know that God can provide, but you know what? He didn't provide for me that one time. He let me down. So God does provide most of the time. You know, there's always that little, it's like, I'm sorry, but it's that kind of thing. You know, we always can say, but yet, God, I know God heals, but we prayed for that one brother or sister 10 years ago. I remember we were really believing and praying, and they died. So God heals most of the time, but sometimes His ways are beyond explaining. God's ways are mysterious. That's true. His judgments are past finding out. But you know what? God's Word says that He's the healer. Yeah, so you know what? True, divine healing, the end result of it is that when you die and you get a new body. I mean, yes, that's the end of the promise. Guess what, folks? One day you're going to die. Hope I didn't bust your bubble. I came home from the doctor's appointment a couple months ago, and I came in and I said to my family, doctor said I'm dying. One day I'm going to die. Right? One day this body is going to be traded in for a new model. Good. Can I hear an amen? Who wants a new model?
Not right now.
Yeah.